Okay. Massachusetts. Eric Fraunfelter, are you reading me?
Cloud and clear.
John Sharon, Indiana, are you reading me?
That's a yes, loud and clear.
10-4.
And Ronald J. Terrio from Louisiana Beer Reviews. So we got Louisiana Beer Reviews, Indiana Beer Reviews, Massachusetts Beer Reviews, tackling and examining natural ice.
Yeah.
I have a 16-ounce can, and you have a 12-ounce.
Yeah.
I got a 25-ounce can.
All right, oil can.
Yeah.
Somebody's about to get bent. All right, well, natural ice came out 19 years ago. I guess we should have waited till next year to look at this, the 20th anniversary. But when it came out in '95, it was in response to, and you all probably are familiar. You both are probably familiar with the ice beer craze of the mid '90s.
Yes.
Starting with Ice House, and then very quickly everybody wanted to jump on that bandwagon because Ice House was so popular. So everybody started, Bud Ice came out in '94, and then in '95 we have Natural Ice and Busch Ice, which came out at the same time. And Bud Ice was sort of like the premium ice beer for Anheuser-Busch, and then they wanted to make a budget ice approach, and so they said it gave them a 1-2 punch. The Busch Ice could attract the Busch Ice drinkers, and the Natural Ice, the natural light drinkers, So you've got two families, three families, right? Budweiser, Busch, and Natural.
And then I guess Keystone Ice at some point down the line for Coors.
Yeah, that was '94, I think. They all just started coming out really fast, and
Well, the Ice House was the first one, right? '93, right?
Correct. Now, let's go back in time a little bit. 1977, Natural Light debuted as the flagship light beer from Anheuser-Busch. 2 years after the, the blockbuster debut of Miller Lite nationwide. And Anheuser-Busch was a little late on the game, but they did the Natural Light, and then 5 years later they came out with Budweiser Light, and that became the flagship. So the Natural Light was kind of relegated to the budget category, but so this apparently is the third natural beer because John.
Yeah, they call this what do they call this? A value American ice lager on the Anheuser-Busch fact sheet for natural ice.
Correct. And John, you were asking about if they ever made a regular natural beer, and apparently they did. They made a natural lager.
Really?
But
they did.
Yeah, I was looking in my old Anheuser-Busch literature, and they used to have natural lager, but I don't guess it lasted too long. They should have never gotten rid of that because it could have had a whole, line. And we know about 3 years ago they came out with Natty Daddy,
yeah,
the natural father, which is the super powerful beer from Natural Family. But the interesting thing, if you look on the Anheuser-Busch websites, they say that Natty Daddy is made with the same exact ingredients as Natural Light.
Really?
Which is making me think that they're taking Natural Light and they're icing it down to make this, right?
What are they doing? Adding more sugar to it so it gets higher ABV? Is that how they do it?
They're saying, I don't know. They're saying that they're using the same ingredients. They're not saying they're adding sugar. I don't know, but
it's weird.
Same ingredients as what now? Natural Light?
Yeah.
Natty Daddy.
Well, would Natty Daddy be? Wouldn't it be like a natural ice just refrozen again and brung back out?
Yeah, it could have been like double frozen. I don't know. It's weird.
Double frozen ice lager. Interesting.
Yeah, because it's 8%, but they don't say it's an ice beer.
No, that's a malt liquor, right? It's a malt liquor.
High gravity lager, yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Natural Light uses barley malt and corn as the adjunct, and they use imported and domestic
selected hops. Yeah.
5.9% alcohol. And John, you can tell us what Rate Beer and Beer Advocates say about this popular beer.
Oh, it's big zero, baby.
Yep.
Nothing.
Rate Beer saying it's a 0. It's the worst beer on the planet.
Yep.
Although, oddly, it's the 14th best-selling beer in America.
That's right.
How crazy is that?
That means they have about 300 million people that love to drink horrible beer, apparently.
Exactly.
Not to mention that it won a gold medal last year at the Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, actually, I got that information out. It says here, 2013, Natural Ice won a gold for American-style cream ale, and in 2008 they won I believe that's a silver for American-style specialty lager.
Yeah.
Rate Beer gives it a big flat 0. So.
Yeah.
Beer Advocate gives it a 43 and a 37.
Wow.
It's pretty bad. I don't know what, you never see TV commercials for this beer. They don't advertise for it, right?
No, I don't see anything in the Natural line really being heavily advertised, because I think they kind of realize that when you go to the store, the price alone is going to be its advertisement. Or something like that. You already know what you're getting into when you go to the store and you're looking for a cheaper beer than Coors, Miller, or a Budweiser. You already know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I'm using an Anheuser-Busch tasting glass, which I bought at the brewery.
I did that too.
I had one before.
This was from Merrimack, New Hampshire.
I'm using the recommended pint glass that they say to use. So.
All right.
Oh, good. I shattered my first glass. I dropped it, so I had to go get one at the brewery the second trip.
Regardless of the fact that that our tasting glass has the etching in it, there is no head, but there's this little fine rim of foamy, just foam, fine rim of foam, but there's really no head anymore.
I got head on mine, and I poured mine.
Too.
Oh, I didn't pour straight down the middle. I did the little angled pour.
No, I went straight in like Anheuser-Busch recommends.
Yep.
And it's bubbly as heck, and it's clear, and it's golden.
Yeah.
What did let's see. Let me go to my Beer Advocate notes just for reference. Yeah, I definitely get a sweet corn. It's very grainy. That could be from barley malt, but otherwise you got a typical American beer smell.
Yeah, the Anheuser-Busch website said it has a what they say, a slightly sweet flavor.
They say, yeah, they say it's what does it say here? It's characterized by its robust body, delicate sweetness, and smooth, rich taste.
I'd go along with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a rich flavor. It's a rich flavor, and I think a lot of people interpret that as nasty, but it's not nasty. I can give you some beers that are truly nasty.
This is also made with rice, also. So.
Isn't the Natural brand made with corn instead of the rice to even further cut down the cost?
Yeah, I don't think it's rice, John.
I remember when I was at a brewery in New Hampshire, the Anheuser-Busch, they said every single beer that they make that has the word Bud or Budweiser in it is made with rice. Everything else is made with corn and some kind of a cereal grain, I believe. So I guess that's even further how they cut the cost between that and Bud Ice.
Now, Rolling Rock is made with corn and rice. It's weird,
Huh.
Oh
yeah, that is Anheuser-Busch now.
I think another thing that sells this beer, when people go to the grocery store and they see, like you said, Eric, the cheap price, they always make sure they prominently display Anheuser-Busch on there.
Yeah.
A lot of consumers, they're thinking, well, that's a mark of quality. I can buy a cheap beer that's not going to make me gag, like, for instance, this thing here, which is, they see these off-the-wall beers that are unusually cheap.
Those are that's a regional beer, right?
Yeah, and it scares people away because they say, I don't know. I never heard of this stuff. It's so unusually cheap, and then when you buy it, you find out why it was unusually cheap.
It's like buying the Big Flats 1901 from Walgreens or something.
Horrible, yeah.
That's
Never seen it, don't get it.
I've got it. I couldn't give it away.
But
They tried selling that in Louisiana, and it didn't last but about 2 or 3 months. What, Eric? What?
I'm going back to the tasting notes on this beer. Just looking over my notes here that I wrote down. Yeah, I would say if you like stuff like a Budweiser or even like a Coors, this kind of reminds me of a Coors in a strange way. I think you might like this. It's definitely a lot richer tasting than a Budweiser. If you like a more robust flavor with a little bit of an extra 0.9% charge in your beer, you might like the Natural Ice.
Yeah, some people say it has no flavor. I don't. Where does that come from? How can people say this has no flavor?
This has. I can even detect from those American and imported hops that it does have a slight spiciness when it dries out in the finish. You do get a little bit of that hop. It's not a Optimum IPA, but you do get a little bit of that hop spice.
You get a lot. You get a little of it at the back end.
Yeah, and it's got a pretty it's got a pretty good body on it. I mean, but you know what's strange about this beer? It's 5.9% alcohol, right? But it's only 130 calories.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like a light beer. It has less calories than Bud Light Platinum. It has.
That's got 5 more calories. This beer has 5 more calories than.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
Got that Mac. He's having trouble with that.
Mac attack.
Yeah. Well, we're stuck with these PCs. But
Yeah.
anyway, he'll be back on once he gets the son of a gun going. But you know what he's saying? It's only like 5 more calories than some light beer he was going to tell us about. But so it's really like you get the best of both worlds, the best of 3 worlds: a cheap price, low calories, and a pretty good alcohol punch. You drink that whole 25 ounce, you're going to know you drank a strong beer.
But I got my 25 ounce. I bought it to local. I believe it wasn't Walmart, but department store type like that for $1.89. So I didn't think that was too bad.
No, and I saw him. Poor old Eric. I saw Natural Ice at the grocery store yesterday. An 18-pack. 12-ounce cans like Eric was drinking for $9.99. That's
not bad. You're looking at about
Yes, $3.33 a 6-pack. Wow, that's pretty cheap.
But and that's not a bad price. But these aren't overwhelmingly terrible beers.
No, we're not sitting on the internet talking about how world class it is and how it tastes like Weihenstephaner, or something like that. We're just saying for somebody that wants a low price, decently good beer, I don't see how you can go wrong with it.
I don't either. This is a good beer right here. I mean, you back?
Yeah, my computer's acting up lately. I don't know
what. All right, Eric. But you can see why it won a gold medal at the competition in the style, right? Extra strong lager.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think that a lot of people are having problems with this beer because I primarily see it sold, the mostly that I see it sold in its 40s, and if people aren't drinking their 40s fast enough, or if they're not really keeping it cold, then it will get disgusting when it's warmer. And I think that's the bad thing about this kind of beer is that when it gets warm is when people start bashing a beer like that.
Oh, look who it is!
But
hey!
Stop
the presses. It's
Dave. He's all muted.
Dave, unmute, Dave. Oh, good.
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to get my buddy Scott White in here. Send him an invite, man. Let him in.
He'll come?
Yeah. I was just on a call with him. I just ended it.
All right.
Give it a shot.
Well,
what's going on, John?
Oh, how you doing, buddy? Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I don't know this other gentleman here, Eric. I don't know.
Eric from the Thomas Meadow 75 from Massachusetts Beer Reviews.
Okay, I'll have to check. I don't know if I'm subscribed to that, and I'll have to check it out.
Might be.
Hey,
But
well, anyway, I'm sorry.
But you know, I mean, it's like we've talked before. These beers and other beers, they've got their own line that they need to be lined up in, and for people to just destroy this type of beer, it's not right, because every beer has its own place, whether it's a sour, a lager, a stout, a Westies, or whatever you want to put it in. You can't put these type of beers in those categories like most people do.
Right.
Okay, what are you guys drinking tonight here? I don't know the gist
We're
of
doing
it.
that natural ice. The one you said, no, thank you.
Ah, dude, no, I can't drink that. Oh,
That's
no.
all right.
Well, you know, it's not.
It's got its place in the world, but it's not for me.
We understand, and
Uh,
but the thing about it is, like John's saying, Anheuser-Busch does not claim that it's world class. After all, on their own website, what do they say? It was
Value.
It was produced for value-priced market.
Mhm.
Budgeted beer.
Yeah, and I have been drinking it since 1996, and I have never noticed any variance whatsoever in the flavor or the aroma. And we have talked about their quality control standards are astronomical. Now, you may not like the beer, but I'll tell you what, you pick up any natural ice anywhere in the country, and it's going to taste the same.
yeah, well, you know what? You beat me to the punchline there, Jay, because I was just going to say that you can say all you want about Anheuser-Busch or any of the big three, but they have good quality control standards. And the beer, if it's bland, it's going to be bland everywhere. You know what you're going to get, you know? So, hey, I'm not knocking the beer. It's just not for me, but it's the same everywhere you go.
Absolutely. And like I was saying last week on our little session, it's a lot of these craft brewery people actually like drinking these kind of beers because, number one, of their quality control standards, and number two, it's so damn hard for a craft brewer to believe that you can be that consistent on a day-to-day basis, and for tasting that way everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
They're
so
jealous of that almost, and they're really not that bad, because if the beer was bad, they wouldn't want to. If the beer had this kind of a bad flavor, then nobody would be buying it.
That's exactly right.
it wouldn't be the 14th best-selling beer in the country. The really bad tasting beers have poor sales. No one buys the garbage.
Right.
Like Big Flats. Who buys Big Flats? Hardly anybody. Why? Because it's terrible.
Yeah.
Scott White, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Scott White wants you to resend a message to BeerGeek31 at Gmail. BeerGeek31.
I don't know if that'll work, but I'll try it. Beer.
Yeah, he changed his email address. It's BeerGeek31 at Gmail.
What else do I have to say about this beer? I mean, overall, I would say that the beer, it's definitely got a slightly bigger body than, say, any other natural or Budweiser product that's not the Bud Ice. But it's definitely good. I gave it a 3 overall in Beer Advocate, and I'm going to stick with that. It's not bad. It's not good. And if you can't appreciate it for at least what it's trying to do, then I think you're missing the point entirely.
I agree with that, and I don't know if y'all have ever tried Busch Ice, but it's very similar to Busch Ice. Not the same.
Did they make that still?
Oh yes, it's not the same. I bought some last in April. I bought some in April.
I have to look that up. I've never seen that in stores. I've seen the Busch.
I didn't even know they made a Busch Ice.
Yeah, since '95.
I've never seen it.
I want to point out a few more things just for the people that love the labels. You'll notice that natural ice is always going to have a horse collar.
Yep.
And 2 boomerangs and the Anheuser-Busch Eagle logo. I don't know what the deal is with the 2 boomerangs. They've always had that. It's strange. Now, I understand the horse collar, right, because of the Clydesdales thing.
Are those two things to the next to the Anheuser-Busch logo? Are that like the grains or something, or like barley or malt?
Yeah, it's like barley stalks.
Yeah.
But now, did the original can have the boomerangs?
Here's the original 1995 bottle. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got some original cans in the basement. I guess we'll have to look at those because I didn't think they had the original boomerangs
It's got the
on.
boomerangs and it's got the horse collar. The horse collar is strange. It's always been the characteristic label design of the natural beers since they came out in 1977. And the only thing I can think of is got to be trying to, in people's minds, associate this beer with the Clydesdales, right?
Yes.
What else would it be? And another thing I like about this beer is that it's always made in brown bottles. Whereas Bud Ice is sometimes in the clear bottles, and you know what kind of problems you can run into with these clear bottles.
Yeah.
I've had some really bad experiences with Bud Ice in a clear bottle.
I've never seen brown bottles of Bud Ice, and I can't say that I have.
They sell them around here.
You buy them around here, or brown bottles of Bud Ice.
But the crazy thing about this whole ice beer craze is that this isn't even a new. This ice beer is not anything that even Anheuser-Busch themselves or Miller were the ones that actually figured out how to do this stuff. It was done a way long time ago in Germany with those Eisbock beers.
Right, correct. And it got transplanted to Canada in the 80s. The Canadians came out with
the Molson Ice.
Molson Ice, and then Miller said, "Well, hell, excuse my language." They said, "Well, let's try it and see what happens." And it was just like wildfire. Now, Ice House is not a big seller anymore because they stopped promoting it. But it's funny because they don't promote natural ice at all, and that stuff flies off the shelves.
Yeah, you go by College Town, USA, you'll find it.
Especially the light, of course, the natural light.
That really almost has no flavor. I mean, it's got that corny water taste, but that's really where natural light is.
Yeah, and I think it's the 5th selling beer in the country. No joke.
It's the value. That's how they sell that beer. It's value brand.
I'll say this: this is not world class by any means, but it can go toe to toe with any other mass-produced lager beers, wouldn't you?
Sure.
Oh, sure, yes.
You know what? Just to interject here for a minute, Jay, I kind of like what you just said. A world-class beer is a world-class beer to whoever's drinking it. So if you like that beer and you think it's world-class, what the hell does the difference what anybody else thinks? And that's kind of why I jumped on here tonight, because it's not my beer, but I'm not going to criticize it because I'm sitting here drinking a beer that a lot of people would make fun of.
Ooh, yeah, Tyskie. That's from Poland, right?
Yeah. So a lot of people would make fun of this beer and say, well, what the hell, you're a craft beer reviewer, what the hell are you drinking that beer for? Well, my family's from Poland, and it's just a personal thing. We know what the hell. You can call me a dumb Polak, I don't care. But I'm going to drink beer.
But let me go back to what Dave just said right there on that beer. Okay, that beer's from Poland, right?
Yep.
Right.
Now, are we really categorizing that beer as a craft beer?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
It's a mass.
I think that's where a lot of people's taking things out of context, because there's so many beers out there. I don't like these West Electron 12s and these other beers. I don't really necessarily say those are craft beers.
No, I agree with you, John. Those are not. No, they're not craft beers.
No,
they're Trappist ales.
Yeah.
Made by monks, but they were making those before anybody ever heard the word craft beer.
Craft beer.
They're not even supposed to, by law, make a beer where they're trying to make money off of the craft beer scene in the first place. They're not allowed to do that.
No, the monks made West Electron 12 back in the 1920s, and it was just a beer. And then people would buy it, and they liked it. Now, it's built up a legendary following in the last probably 20 years, and I drank it. I bought a 6-pack for $85.
I give 100. So.
We're drinking Natty Ice tonight.
Yeah.
But it was, I paid $85 for it, and it was the best beer I ever had. Yeah. But you can go down to the grocery store and buy Natty Ice for $9.99 an 18-pack, and it'll be pretty enjoyable to me. Now, like Dave said, it's not for him, it's not for everybody. Well, that's sensible.
Right.
But this beer right here that I'm drinking is not going to be for everybody. So I think everybody has their own choices to make. I'm not going to criticize anybody. If you want to drink natural ice, go for it. And if I want to drink this, I go for it, right?
Yeah, you got to remember that when you go onto YouTube, you go onto Facebook, Twitter, any of the other beer rating websites, every single thing you're reading is somebody's subjective opinion.
Oh,
Don't look at this as the gospel, because it's not.
But Eric, a lot of times they'll state their opinions as a fact.
Yeah.
Like I got into an argument with someone today. He said, Budweiser is a terrible beer. I said, wait a minute.
Compared to what?
I said, that's your opinion.
Yeah, good, Eric.
I said, that's your opinion. I said, a fact is making a statement like Budweiser is a beer. That's a fact. Budweiser is a beer. Budweiser is a terrible beer is your opinion. What he should have said was Budweiser, in my opinion, is a terrible beer. I can deal with that. But I got a problem with people taking opinions and stating them as facts.
Another way that he could spin that is compared to natural ice and the value of natural ice, Budweiser is a terrible beer. I just looked it up at the store that I bought it at, and it's $5.40 something for a 6-pack.
What?
The natural ice.
Okay.
I think a 30-pack of Natural Light here where I live is roughly on around $15 a 30-pack.
Yeah, same thing here, John. At Walmart, I saw that. I said, 30-pack for what? $15.99? Wait a minute.
Let me back that up again, and of what Eric said about the college towns. A 30-pack of Ice House here is less than $14.
Oh,
I was in Chicago in 2010. When I was in Chicago in 2010, this is not a joke. They had Ice House 30 packs for $10.99.
Yeah.
That's really cheap.
This is not enjoyable as it warms up in the glass. That's all I'll say about it. No, it's gonna be ice cold.
A lager beer is made to drink as cold as possible. I put mine in the freezer for 30 minutes.
I agree with you guys. You know what this is?
Yes.
This is a beer freezer that you put your bottle into to keep it cold, because I agree. Warm lagers are not good. No.
Yep.
So instead of running out to the freezer in a few minutes, I just use that.
Yeah.
But to back it up just a minute, Jay, I think Jay would agree with me more than anybody on what I'm going to say. You're talking about subjective, Jay. You remember when we used to grade papers all the time?
Right.
Okay, we're grading the papers. So our opinion is very subjective, right? About how the papers are written. It's the same thing with beer. It's the same thing with beer. Whoever has the beer in his or her hand, hey, there's Scotty. I see Scotty.
All right, Scott.
Scott's here.
Scotty.
Scott, get that natural ice out.
But you know, I've seen so many of these people, and you guys probably have too.
Wait. He's muted. Unmuted, Scott.
Is this what Google does when you start out?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
But I've seen so many of these people here lately on Facebook, and I'm sure you guys have also on Twitter and everything else. The 10 beers you shouldn't drink.
Oh yeah. That's propaganda. That's propaganda.
I've seen so many places around here post that same thing that says, "I don't sell these beers in our restaurant," and I can take you all right to about half of them right now and show you half of those beers in these restaurants right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. That's some kind of bull crap, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I have a neighbor across the street, okay? She is not a beer enthusiast, okay? She's 68 years old. She likes beer. She drinks it because she likes it, all right? I brought her Sierra Nevada Torpedo.
Ooh.
I buy her beer sometimes. She's taking medicine right now, so she can't drink beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada gonna put her under the bus.
That is that funny.
All right, well, listen. I bought her a 6-pack of Torpedo, Sierra Nevada Torpedo. I said, I'm going to buy her something really good. I said, what'd you think? She said, well, it was okay. I drank it. She said, but she said, I rather if you I prefer if you bring that natural ice from now on. I'm serious. I'm not making. She likes this stuff. I used to buy her 12 packs of natural ice, and she said, bring that. I like to drink the good beers. So, but you know what I mean? She doesn't realize she's not supposed to like it. As far as she's concerned, it's really good. So it's kind of interesting. Somebody off the street saying that, you know. But
right.
Well, I wouldn't give a torpedo to somebody who didn't really like craft beer. I'd start with something similar, something very small.
Make a convert out of somebody. Why not?
Hey, she might really like that big flat you got.
Oh no, she wouldn't drink that. But she you know, she likes to drink Corona. But I mean, you know, a lot of people that I talk to in my regular world, they're not into beer. You know what I mean? They drink beer more than me probably, but they're not into beer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the beers that they think are really good, the beer snobs roll their eyes at. Like the people I work with or whatever, they tell me stuff like, "Why you drink all that garbage? Why don't you drink something good like Corona?"
Back to Schlitz for a moment.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Back to Schlitz.
Well,
I don't know. I think I'm liking the natural ice a little bit more than Schlitz.
I had the Schlitz last week, man. I got it across the street at the bar, and I had my Schlitz glass here, and you
Saw
guys.
that video. Yeah.
If I'd have known,
I sent a message, but I don't know why you guys didn't see it. I
didn't see the pop up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
But
it's not often that I have one of those beers.
Schlitz is the king of the regular beers, I'd say.
Let's see, what does that sign say back there? The beer that made Milwaukee famous. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys can see that back there or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some of those collectibles, Dave. Let's wrap it up before we go too long. Here's my main gripe with natural ice and rating. I got a problem when Rate Beer is saying it's a 0 out of 100. How could it be a 0? To me, a 0 means it has absolutely no merit. It's undrinkable in every way, right?
Yep.
That's been my gripe for 10 years. I mean, it's not great. It's not awesome.
Right.
I buy it just to have something in the fridge to drink. I don't sit there and drink it and say, oh, man, I'm drinking natural ice. I'm so excited.
Yeah. If you drink one natural ice, you can definitely drink 6 of them, no problem.
Right. I can understand somebody saying it's ordinary or it's sort of substandard.
That's the point, slightly.
But to say that it's a 0, that's just outlandish.
You have to consider.
I'd like to.
Wait. Dave's saying something. Hold on, Dave.
You just have to consider who is doing the rating. We don't know who these people are. They hide behind, just like on Facebook, they hide behind disguises. Who are these people that are rating the beer 0? Who are they?
Good question. I use my real name, but a lot of people hide behind personas, and it makes them very brave. But
yeah. So if they rated a 0, who are they? Who are they? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Scott, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, they also need to, in my opinion, if they're going to start rating that kind of stuff, they need to start breaking it down into their own. I mean, if you look at it, they bunch them together all in a whole. Whether it's by year, whether it's by being an adjunct lager, or whether it's a micro, macro, they don't separate them. So I mean, if they're going to start rating them for how they are, instead of trying to put them up against some of the best craft beers in the world.
You can't do that. You're missing the point of the beer if you're trying to say, right. Natural ice is crap, but right. Optimum IPA, well, that's where it's at. Well, obviously, because they're two different things, but that
right.
discredit anybody's merit.
No, nobody.
I don't personally get on Beer Advocate or Rate Beer and all that crap, because I think it's all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's like Dave said. You don't know who these people are. They're hiding behind a blank picture.
And then one thing that I dislike the most is certain, I'm not going to mention names, certain reviewers get on here and they read right from the screen from Rate Beer and Beer Advocate.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
What the hell kind of review is that, John? I didn't even do that. You're going to read right from the screen. Right from the screen.
And that is some of the biggest beer reviewers on here right now does that.
Yeah, without mentioning any names, yes.
I'm sure we all know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what? It's okay to check those websites and get a general idea, but I can read it for myself. I don't need you to read it for me.
The only reason I check Rate Beer and Beer Advocate is what I do is I'll write a written review. I always write a written review for every beer I've ever had, and I read their reviews for this month. Like, let me see what they're saying for May or June.
Yeah.
I just want to see if their description matches mine. Typically, it does. Now, they might not like it or whatever, but it'll, they'll say, well, it has a corny flavor, and then mine will say, yeah, it had a lot of corn in it, something like that. I just want to make sure my reviews are not off the wall, but usually they're not. They're in line. But you see, that's what I'm worried about. Is what I'm saying about the beer accurate? Your opinion can't be accurate or inaccurate because, like Dave said, if you think the beer is world class, well, then it's world class to you. That's what matters.
Right. It all boils down to your taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got people. I know people that say Samuel Adams Boston Lager. That's garbage. I don't know where that's coming from.
That stuff tastes watery and it has no flavor. That just tastes like beer. I think it was it? I think the Better Beer Authority said it just tasted like water and just tasted like normal beer.
That's a joke.
I don't get that at all.
Right.
No, there's no way. You could say I don't like natural. I'm sorry. You could say I don't like Samuel Adams because I don't care for the flavor. Fine, but don't sit there and say Samuel Adams is bad because it tastes like water and it tastes like all other beers. Damn it! Go get a can of natural ice and then drink a can of Samuel Adams Boston Lager and tell me they taste the same. That's impossible. There's no way.
I'm definitely gonna say with stuff like the natural ice if you're gonna do like beer, if it can go 1 to 5, it's definitely a 3. It's not good beer, nor is it bad beer. It's exactly what it is. It's beer. It's the stereotypical type of a beer taste with a little extra richness that a
I see Scott.
White beer won't have. That's about it.
Yeah, I would agree, Eric. I think it's a good beer, but I don't think it's a great beer. But I do rate a little higher than you because if I was eating a ham sandwich with some mayonnaise and mustard and some iceberg lettuce and some cheese, and I was drinking natural ice, it'd be fine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to a dinner. I wouldn't go to a dinner party and bring a 6-pack of natural ice. I mean, I got better sense than that.
No, but there is a saying that goes. I mean, every beer has its place.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you this. This is the first time I've drank this beer in my entire life.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
And I'm going to tell you what. I mean, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think it's a little above your average. But I kind of like beers like this. I'm kind of a beer junkie for these things. And I think it's a pretty good beer.
3.5, so that's like a 70 out of 100. Okay.
Yeah, I know that.
That's pretty fair, John. Well, I appreciate everybody joining. Natural ice, like you said, John, you like to do these beers because nobody ever talks about them. So it's kind of like one of those beers that, hey, it exists. It's number 14 in the country. It deserves to be talked about.
And it's like we say, you can't categorize this beer in any other layman's term, but it's a beer. It's not a craft beer. It's not something else. It's a beer. And that's what these are made to be, as beers. Beers to enjoy more than one. Beers to take to a picnic and sit along a creek. That's what these beers are made for.
Right. They're drinking beers. They're not contemplative beers.
That's exactly right.
I can't say anything bad about them because my father and my grandfather, I remember growing up, they drank these beers. So
right.
That's it.
Right, but some people make it all personal. Like they make personal attacks on you. Like you like this beer, well, therefore you're an idiot. You're a moron. I hate you. I mean,
Jay, speaking of personal attacks, I wish I was on Facebook so I could see the comments that are going to come from this video.
Dave,
thank you.
I've got to the other side now. I'm a traitor.
Dave, they've already been coming in. But anyway,
Oh, I'd love to see those comments, man. Send them to my Gmail account. I'd love to read them.
Hey, but you know, we're not doing these every week to promote these beers, or we're not doing it not to promote these beers. We're trying to say that these beers are out there. They're alive. They're there.
Yeah,
Try them.
Yeah,
Don't judge it for not what it is. Judge it for what it is.
right, somebody said we were trying to promote the beer. We're not trying to promote them. We don't work for Anheuser-Busch. They could
Look at that.
there's a lot of hard work.
tomorrow. It wouldn't matter to us.
A lot of hard work goes into making any beer. I don't care what it is.
I mean, I'll promote Schlitz. Schlitz is good.
Right. Well, any last final comments? My final comment is I've bought it in the past. I'll buy it again. Simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me in, man. I'll see you next time.
And until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers, everybody.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Have a
world.
good one, guys.
Thanks, folks.
All right.
Bye.